Okay, now we will start. I recited Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Today we will continue the second Pārājika. Although we say stealing, but here it covers many other like cheating, robbery, or many other bad things. But here we have original rules, Yobana Bhikkhu, gang, robbery, or many other bad things. But here we have original rules, Yobana Bhikkhu, Gamawa, Renyawa, Tiya Sankata, Ariya. Yatha Ruban Rajano, Jordan Gedawa, Heneyawa, Bandayawa, Babajawa, Joro si, Balo si, Mulo si, Cheno si, Yatha Ruban Bhikkhu Adina, Adiya Mano, Yami Pārājika Hodi Asawa. So this is the rules. So as we have mentioned about Bhikkhu last week, then it also here it will be only Nyati Chatutha Bhikkhu. In modern community we have only Nyati Chatutha Bhikkhu. So by Chani Kamavaja we are ordained. So actually here we have to talk about stealing. In the commentary, you also mentioned about Gamawa, Aranyawa, many other definitions. These are just for knowledge of their concerns. It is stealing. So, okay, we have to start with different types of stealing. Here we have 25 types of stealing. Too much, right? 25. So 25 ways of stealing. So the first group, they divide into 5 groups. The first 5 we call Nana Bandha Panjaka. In this group, it covers living things and non-living things. So when we see living things or non-living things, we have to consider with these 5. When we see living things or non-living things, we have to consider with these 5. So that means when we just bring the case to the trial court, in order that we may get other people's properties. So as soon as we bring the case to the trial court, it's a dukkata. Then the owner will suspect his ownership. It belongs to me or him, or he may think, can I win in this case or I will fail? When he suspect or doubt about his conditions, it is a chunlajaya. When he makes a decision, then it depends on the value. It will be Pārājika. This is we call Adiyeya. Second one is Hariya. So, for example, when we are carrying other people's properties, we have to think about these rules. For example, we are going to carry a bag of ropes, very big amount of ropes. We are carrying with our heads. We have intention to steal. We will wrap it. We will put the intention to steal, we just rub in or touching it here and there. When we shake, it is a Chonachaya. When we move from head to shoulder, for example, or from head to maybe ground, maybe, put the intention to steal, it will be Pārājika. So when we are going to carry other people's properties, then we have to be very careful. It's very valuable properties, right? Then very, very risky. When our mind is changing too much, or our mind is not very stable, be careful, right? Another one is Avahariya. Avahariya means sometimes the owner will instruct you, entrust, right? Entrust you. Sometimes the owner will instruct you, entrust, right? Entrust you. Then you have to keep their properties in your hands. With the intention, when you have intention, I will not return their properties. So that's why we have this kind of thinking. It's Dhamma already, right? But when the owner comes, we will say, I will not return your properties. I cannot give you back. We may say like that. It's a dukkha. When the owner thinks that I can win or I can fail, then he suspects his condition, his ownership. It is a Chonachaya. When the owner gives up or expectation, then it's Pārājika. This is called Avahariya. Another one is the Idiapatan we call Peya. Idiapatan means the posture or deportment. It's called Idiapatan. So sometimes we may see the properties together with the career. We have, for example, like we will carry the property with the junkie, for example, with a junkie. Or we may ask a man to carry the properties. Ancient times we have slave, right? So he will see the property together with the slave. Then he may ask see the property together with the slave. Then he may ask the slave to move, go to another direction. So, for example, we are going to carry one property from here to lower monastery. Okay? But in the junction, the Bhikkhu change his mind. He will ask the man or the slave to go to Jodhanya Middle Monastery or maybe other direction, to the forest maybe. Right? So when the first step change the directions, it is Chonachaya. When the second steps change the directions, is Pārājika. So this one is actually very, very strict. But the main thing here we have to know is property. Just changing the directions is also Pārājika. This rule is really, really very strict. Then we have Thana Jaweya. Thana Jaweya means like a moving from the place. For example, we have some items on the table now, for example, right? For the intention to steal, if we touch, it is dukkha. If we shake, it is a Chonachaya. If we move, it is Pārājika. We call Thana Jaweya. So these are the first 5 among the 25. So I've already said in this group, it also covers living things and non-living things. About Eka Banda Panjaka. Okay. It covers only stealing living things. Okay, previously we will bring some kids to the triangle, for example, it can be living things, non-living things. Now only living things. We may have some animals in the monastery, like such as a cow or bull, for example. Also, the owner also have bull and cow in the monastery, but they keep in the monastery, for example, right? Then we may bring the kids to the triangle courts. This is a area, right? Together. Then if the owner suspects his ownership, then if the owner suspects his ownership, if the owner give up, it's Pārājika. So that is the parts. Similar, you can also imagine all similar things, right? Here we have to think about only living things. Okay, now we have to remove the next group, Sahatika Panjaka. So Sahatika means stealing by oneself. So we don't need to talk about it. It's very, very simple, right? We just take other people's property by ourselves without asking permission from the owner. This is stealing. Very clear, right? This is called Sahatika. Now the Anatika. We may ask this. This is also very clear, right? And Nisakiya. Okay, this one is a little bit some problem. So, here Nisakiya means throwing away. To avoid tax, etc. So sometimes there are checkpoints on the highway or somewhere. We have to avoid the checkpoints. There's also like a fence, for example, right? We don't go to the checkpoint. We just go to another place. Just throw property over the fence. We will go to the checkpoint with empty hands. After we will go back to our properties and take it. Right? So that kind of case is also called Nisakiya. It depends on the value. It will be Pārājika, right? Later we have another one like a Sungha Kata. We have another types of stealing. This one is just throwing away the properties. Not only that, we also have other people's property with bad intention. We want to destroy other people's properties that we throw away. In rainy season, for example, right? If we throw away other people's telephone or computer, sure, it will spoil naturally. That kind of throwing away also can be considered as a stealing. Destroying other people's properties intentionally. So another one is Atta Sadaka. Asking others to steal in the proper time. So here we have to consider many other cases, but here the Bhikkhu will ask another Bhikkhu, please go and see these properties when is it proper, when you are convenient. So yeah, he didn't fix the dates or the time exactly, right? When he order or commands like that, If he has a really he has ability to see, for example, then as soon as he order or commands, it becomes Pārājika. So the one he asks is really smart to see other people's properties. He can do it definitely, exactly. This is called Attasadaka. If I want to say Dura Nikipa. This one is really, I already mentioned before, Dura Nikipa means he give up his hope or expectation to get back. As we have mentioned, right? We may bring the case to trial court, or we may take other people's properties, or we may hide other people's properties, we will throw away other people's properties. When the owner give up people's properties, when the owner give up, I don't think I can get back this one anymore. Then the Bhikkhu who swine properties or who take his properties will be Pārājika. Not only that, sometimes we may have a debt, right? We don't want to pay it. Then we decide I will not pay it anymore. This is also Pārājika. Because these are the second five. Okay, the third five, right? Then okay, one more thing about I have to talk about Nisaggiya again. Although we say throw away, for example, very big container. Then we may bring rotten fish, for example, and put into the wine. Now this is also Nisaggiya. We just throw, right, into the wine. Then all the wine will be smelly. If we can use less, right? Then the owner will lost in his marketing, his properties. This is also called Nisaggiya. We can also imagine many other similar things. For example, we may bring many glasses, many woods, just put into the wine or many other properties. We mix up with other things in order that the owner cannot use it anymore. This is also called Nisaggiya. It anymore. This is also called Nisaggiya. Okay, now we have to continue the next group. Upapayoga Panchaka. Upapayoga Panchaka also we mentioned. The first one is Upapayoga, therefore prior to stealing. That's a little bit similar to asking other people to steal, right? This is called Upapayoga. So that means before the thief or the person will command or order steal, the person will command or order steal, we break the precept already. This is called Upapayoga. I have already mentioned, right? We may command or orders other Bhikkhu or lay person. He is really skillful enough or strong enough, smart enough to steal other people's properties. As soon as we order or command, this is Pārājika. This is called or similar to this one, right? Upapayoga. Prior to real actions, he is already break precepts. So then he is already breaking The second Pārājika, right? This rules. And 2 is Sahapayoga. Sahapayoga is like when boundary, pillar or pole. Okay, for example, here in this monastery, we have like some pillar in the boundary, right? We have pillar. So we do get bigger lands. That's why we may move our boundary stones into west or east a little bit, for example. This is also called stealing. Sahapayoga. As soon as we change it, it is a Pārājika. So here in this case, it mentioned even 1 hair breadth of land is enough for Pārājika. So the land is long time use, everlasting long time properties, also very deep, right? So that's why when we are going to make the boundary, we have to just limit, right? Just entire area, not outer area too much. We want to go beyond our territory or boundary. Okay, the next one is Samvidavahara. That means making agreements and stealing. Okay, here we may have many bhikkhus, for example, right? 5 bhikkhus were discussed, or maybe 10 bhikkhus were discussed to see some properties. Then one of them must wait in this gate, one of them must wait in that gate, and then that person will go and steal the properties. They make agreements, arrangements, properties. Guys, if one of them steal the properties, 5 of them break precepts. This is called Samvidavahara. But sometimes, they have different people. For example, like 4 bhikkhu. You take this property, okay, you have this amount, I will have this amount, you take this amount. If we combine together, if enough of Pārājika, this also, all of them break this rule. In the case of Samvidavahara, it depends on the group. If all of the people take the properties, enough for Pārājika, it's Pārājika. It doesn't mean individually, right? So that means, mostly if we just take, it doesn't mean individually, right? So that means, mostly if we just take only we ourselves, if we take property enough for Pārājika, we will break Pārājika. What about 5 bhikkhus? Each bhikkhu gets very little amount of properties. It's not enough for Pārājika. But if 5 together, it's enough for Pārājika, then all of them will be Pārājika. This is Samvidavahara. Okay? When discussion, we have to consider the one. Then 4, Sanketa Kamma. So this is actually limiting time. Limiting time means, okay, we may command or order another bhikkhu, limiting the time. For example, you have to go there in the morning, 5 o'clock, you have to take the properties, for example. Then the second bhikkhu must do as he recommended. If he still, as he recommended, accept time, then if 2 bhikkhu, right, both of them will be Pārājika. But only the wrong time, for example, the first bhikkhu command him in the morning. He did it in the morning. Only in the afternoon he will take the properties. Only the bhikkhu who go and steal, break this rule. Okay, now the next one is Nimitta Kama is just a signal, signal. Signal means, we may blink our eyes, so we may have some agreements, right? Some discussion about before stealing. So if I blink my eyes, just go and take it. Or if I shake my head, go and take it, something like that. We have the sign or signal to steal the properties. If we make this kind of signal also, can be considered that for one people will show, right? Another people will steal. Similar to agreement, you can imagine. So this, okay, sometimes people may ask lay person, right? Lay person is not Pārājika, only people Pārājika, right? In this case. May ask lay person, right? Lay person is not Pārājika, only people Pārājika, right? In this case. So signature or signal, blinking the eye, shaking the head, or like a hand gesture also possible, and gesture will show to steal. That's also called Pārājika. Because it's stealing. Okay, we have the last group among the 25. This is called Theya Vahara Panchaka. Theya Vahara means, okay, here the first one is cheating other people, like reducing weight, measure, container, and so on. For example, like in the petrol station, although they say 1 liter, but not 100% 1 liter, they will just give you only maybe less than 1 liter, for example, right? Similarly, we have many other types of measurements. For example, weight. When we try to buy the meat, for example, sometimes like a tomato or something, then we have to wait, right? But sometimes we just get some amount from it. We don't get fully, right? That's also called reducing the weight or measurement, any kind of measurement. So when we sell the clothes, we have to measure, right? How many meters or how many feet or yards. But we don't give fully. We just reduce the length. Then this also can be considered as this kind of stealing. So Theya Vahara, right? This is like a cheating. Actually, Asian time, they have many different types of, actually, it was mentioned in the commentary, many different ways of stealing in Asian tradition. For example, like a weight. There will be 2 different types of, you may use scale, right? Then one side is the weight, another side is goods or the properties. So we can cheat the weight also. It depends on how we use our hands or maybe balance or something. We can see in many different ways. But whatever way we teach people, reducing the weight, the measurements, or the amount, then it will be considered as this one, Theya Vahara. The second one is a Bhagasha Vahara, focusing or bullying others. Okay, here we can also say like modern society like a kidnapping. We were kidnapped. Then we will show the hostage. After that, we are trying to earn money, get money, right? This is also called stealing. Here we got Bhagasha Vahara. The owner have to give unwillingly although they don't wish, they have to give it. They are forced by somebody. This is also called Pratyavyahara. So it can be any ways of bullying other people to take their property by force. So for example, like some of the Bhikkhu may have very good relationship with the king. Sometimes they may have relationship with the king or minister or something like that. In modern community also, that some Bhikkhu may have very strong very good relationship with high-ranking officer, something like that. They may bully many people. They will take their property. This is also called Pratyavyahara. So now we have 3. Parikappavahara. Okay, here when we talk about Parikappavahara, we have to consider 2 different things. Okay, here when we talk about Parikappavahara, we have to consider 2 different things. The first one is the properties, right? So when we limit the properties, we have some storehouse. It's totally dark. We cannot see anything. We know there are many things in the storehouse, storerooms. Then a Bhikkhu will enter. His plan here is going to steal the robe. So in the bag, the robe and a set of robe are the same size. He may touch a set of robes, thinking it's the robe. He will take it, leave the room. Because his intention is to steal the robe. That's why no Pārājika yet. On the way, when he opened the bag, he came to know, oh, this is not the robe, this is a set of robes. So he will return. It's okay. No Pārājika. But he didn't wish to return. Okay, if I have got one set of robes, okay, I will take it. It depends on footsteps. The first steps, Tonechaya, second step, Pārājika. So that is what we call Parikappavahara. What we call Parikappavahara. Then we also have like a limiting the place of Okasa Parikappa. Okay, we have a property in the Sangha affairs. Okay. Then the Bhikkhu will take some properties. He may think, I will bring this one to like the pillar, the post, entrance post of our upper monastery. If somebody see what is the property, and they just borrow from some office, right? He will say, I'm borrow. But if nobody can see, I will steal the properties. Entrance pillar, entrance post. He will take it. So from some office to the post, it's not Pārājika yet. After that, he will decide, okay, now nobody can see. I will steal. I will take it. Okay? From that time on, the first step is Tonechaya, the second step is Pārājika. Okay, there can be some other situations or conditions. Sometimes the priest has already known the time and the place. Or in the evening it will be very crowded. But in the midday, not very crowded on the street, on the road. But I will give the same example from office to the gate. So he just steal properties. Then when he was stealing, somebody came to know. Then they will shout, "Oh, that's thief!" Then he will run away. He will take property and run away. He limits the area from office to the gate. He had to run away. He will throw away beside the road. All the people are chasing him. They didn't recognize he has already thrown away the properties. Then this is not the area he limited. No, yeah, Pārājika. Although after coming back, he knows where he threw away the properties, right? If he has intention to return, it's okay. No, yeah, Pārājika. But he think, okay, I have already stolen this one. This is my property. Right? This is no more Sangha properties. I have already stolen. I just throw it here. It's Pansukula now already. You may take it as a Pansukula. Put the possession of Pansukula. He must return the price to the owner. If you didn't return the price, it depends on the value. So it can be Pārājika also. Okay, this is the call Parikapavahara. Okay, now the next one. Patichanavahara. Covering others' properties. Okay, in this case, for example, we are walking on the beach. We see a gold case, for example. We are walking on the beach. We see a golden rings. We also know where is the one, right? We step on it in order that it may be covered with the sands. The owner will come and find out their properties. They will to get their property. They will look for it. They still have expectation to get it back. But tomorrow we will come and take it. This is their belonging, right? If the Bhikkhu take it, so this is very clear, right? Pārājika. But Jonah Major came. Then they cannot see their property anymore. They may not expect anymore. Okay? I give up. It's very crowded. They cannot see their property anymore. They may not expect anymore. Okay? I give up. It's very crowded area. I cannot get back my property back. When the owner give up, it is Pārājika. That's cover there, right? So similarly, we may cover other people's property with the grass, with the leaves, or anything, in order that the owner cannot see it. So when he give up his expectation or hope to get it back, it's Pārājika. Whether we take it or not. Okay, the last one. Kusavahara. So changing the draw or scripts. Yeah, we can also say like an identity theft. Right? So we to get it, so for our own, we will change the ID without buying or without payment. See a lot of properties just changing. Right? So in this case, now like a serial key, right? There are some people, I don't know how they get. Around the year 2010 or around that time, in Myanmar we have a Microsoft Office. They can get serial number of Microsoft Office easily. We don't need to buy. No, if like the original one, maybe more than 1 lakh. But you know, the fake serial number and only 2,000, maybe 1,000 or something like that. You can imagine. This also changing identity. This also changing identity. This okay cover for this one. So like now we have many activation, right? In Kovida, many activation. We need serial key. Without buying, without any payments, we will see. This also can be considered as kusavahara, changing identity. Okay, now what is given in the text? Okay, I will give one summary about the text. We have 2 set of roles. We are going to do lucky draw. We are going to decide by draw lots. Then one do we wish to get very valuable things. One is very valuable, another one is not very valuable. You can make 2 pieces of paper. By description in it, piece of paper in one, another paper in another one, right? The second people know which one is his name. We will change. Right? So first, he will pick up his name. Although we cannot see, he has some mark that he can know. He will pick up his name. It's okay, no problem. Drop to another portion. See, okay, this is property, it doesn't matter. But when he takes another descriptions from other people's portion, is the problem. When we touch, together, when we move, when we leave it in the second portion, Pārājika, the changing the draw lots, because kusavahara, because of the identity theft. So here we have to know the factors for these rules. The property must belong to a human being. Be careful. It must belong to human being. In Pārājika. It belongs to Deva, it doesn't matter. It belongs to animal, it doesn't matter. So it must really belong to a human being. This is the first thing. So we also have perceptions of other people's properties, the second factor. It must be heavy properties. Heavy property means valuable properties of other people's properties, the second factor. It must be heavy properties. Heavy property means valuable properties. After that, we have intention to steal. Having perception to steal. Or we will make one of the 25 actions as we have mentioned before. This is called Pārājika, according to these rules. So here we just also mention non-offense. For example, Saka Sanya, thinking our properties. From time to time, for example, we have many umbrellas, many similar umbrellas, the same brand, the same size, from the same company, the same color. So thinking our properties, we will take it. This is not Pārājika. But when we know, we must return, right? This is called Saka Sanya, having perception of our properties. Sometimes even slippers. What about slippers? If we just find when we can know is it our slipper or not, because we can see it in our feet, right? But there are some people they don't know. Okay, the main thing is Saka Sanya. Thinking that's our properties. Now, Visasagaha, taken very close friends properties. Sometimes we have very close relationship, although we use their properties, they will not feel anything, they will not feel unpleasant, they will feel happy for Gaha. Another one is Kama Karika. This means borrowing or like a loaning. That's for temporary use. We have intention to return. In this case, no Pārājika. Peta Prekaha, ghost property, no Pārājika. Ghost properties. Okay, now practically you can see in the channel ground, they will give food for their parents. They will give many property for their parents in the channel ground. We can take it. It's not stealing. It's a ghost property. Another one is the Divichana Brikaha, animals properties. Okay, here we have to know one thing about Divichana. For example, if tiger. Okay, here we have to know one thing about Divichana. For example, if tiger may hunt a deer, we have to get meat of deer. We have to chase out the tiger. We can take it, right? But out of compassion, we have to wait until the tiger eat it. After eating, we can take it. Out of compassion. So we have this kind of rule and regulations. Of course, for taking it, we have to ask Kapia to arrange everything properly. It will be another offense, another rules. Another one is the pansukula. You know already pansukula, wrap ropes, right? Like a throw somebody, the language or give up or throw away. The language property, you can say like that. Very valuable, no Pārājika. So for other cases, similar to previous one, like a crazy bhikkhu, or sometimes their minds are out of order, they will do many different things. Sometimes when they have very seriously sick, then they will do whatever they like, out of control. It will be exception. So it will be no offense. Okay, now we have to talk about the last part, right? So we have to think about these rules according to many other situations. For example, here we have in the Vibhanga, it mentioned Vuttungalancha, Desancha, Ekamboliboka Panchaman. 1.24 trillion ounce, right? This is the amount of gold. This is enough for Pārājika. So anyway, now what should the properties of the material? The material must be valuable. This is one thing. Another one is the time. So sometimes the price become high, sometimes the price become low, right? It is the time. For example, the Bhikkhu will see the rose 2 years ago, for example. We have to think about the price at the time, not now. Now the price of rose will become expensive now, right? And 2 years ago it will be a little cheaper. So the time, actual time of stealing. Now the price of rope will become expensive now, right? And 2 years ago it will be a little cheaper. So the time, actual time of stealing. We have to think about the price and the actual time of stealing. Another one is Desanja. Desa means the place. For example, banana in Myanmar and banana in other countries will be different price. Actually, okay, for example, mango in Myanmar and mango in Korea, yeah, totally different. Different price. In Myanmar, we can get everything very cheap. Because we have big land, we can plant many things. We can also get easily. But anyway, the main thing is that we can also get easily. But anyway, the main thing is that the place. Although the same material, the same time, but it depends on the place, they have a different value. Another one is the price. They already know, right? The price. Then you already know. Another one is the Pātimokkha. Pātimokkha means used or new. For example, if we talk about the robes, used robes and new robes, different value, different price. To explain that, we have one story in commentary, you mentioned. One of the Bhikkhu polished coconut shell. Where polish. So he leave it in his previous living place. Another people come there. When he leave, another people come there. He take the coconut shell. The previous owner didn't give up that one. He will to get that one. When they see each other, he also remember his cup. Oh, this is my cup. Where do you get? Then there's argument. Then there's Vinaya is for Bhikkhu. When the kids bring to the Vinaya is for Bhikkhu, he just consider all these five. Apart from material, coconut shell. Material is a coconut shell. Huh? So the time, okay, this is, we have to say, material is a coconut shell. Huh? So the time, okay, this is, we have to say, actual time of this action. This one is in Sri Lanka. Then the price. This one is the problem, the price. We can get coconut shell freely anywhere. That's rubbish. No value. Only the pollution. So pollution is not valuable enough for Pārājika. That's the one thing. Another one is the Pātimokkha. The owner has already used it. It will be lower than the new one. That's why the one is not valuable enough for Pārājika. Okay. So this is the second part. When we have intention to steal, it will be Pārājika. Without intention, we cannot say it's Pārājika. For other things, for other actions, it's very easy. We have to think about intention. It also can be bodily actions and body actions, both of them. I already mentioned, for example, signal. It can be body actions. Because of command or order, it can be body actions. Sometimes we ourselves steal. It also can be bodily actions. Right? So, this is the second Pārājika. It's really, really very standard case. If we are unwise, we can make mistake in any situation. When we go to the market, before we touch properties, we must be careful. We must ask, if we can ask permission from the owner, it will be much better. May I have a look or may I touch? It will be much better, right? Okay, so now, is there any question? The owner can make decisions, right? Government is not the owner. Okay? So, okay, in this case, we have to think about the owner. One more thing, it's Bhikkhu. It will be a little bit risky. As bhikkhu, we have to follow two rules, right? We have to also follow government laws. We also have to follow Buddha's law. Two laws. I see.
What is the situation?
Okay, that means the bhikkhu gives you the one properties, and he will take it back. We have another one in Pātimokkha. You know, Sila Ichindana. We have another rules. So it depends on how he thinks. When he gives it as your own property or his properties, this is one thing. If he had already given you as your properties, totally without any expectation from you, when he get it back, if it rogues for example, if Sila Ichindana, we have one rule. If it rogue for example, right? Sila Ichindana, it will be Pātimokkha. So if he thinks it's his own properties, then it depends on the situation, right? Then it will be a little bit less offense. If it thinks your properties, it depends on value. The value is it will be Pārājika. We have to consider according to many situations. Okay? We're gonna take it back like this. Okay? Okay, so if we have intention to steal, right? Although we say borrowing, only Bible is saying borrowing, right? Borrow already. After that, you steal, have intention to steal. Okay. So in the very beginning, you just borrow. Later, you hide the property, right? No, you don't need to give return to the owner. Owner asks to return. You have intention to steal and you take here and there, something like that. It depends on, second one. Changing the place of the problem. For the intention to steal, when we carry the other people's properties. Okay, as soon as you have intention to steal, we have to consider the second one, among the 25 ways of stealing, second one. When you have intention to steal, even changing the place. For example, you keep, when you borrow from me, okay, put intention to use normally. After that, you keep on the table like this, okay now, right? Then you have intention to steal, I will not return. You always have this kind of mind. Touch it together. Take it. Move it Pārājika. Right? It depends on the time you have intention to steal. We have to decide. Okay? Broken means cannot use. Okay, in this case, it depends on the value. Right? The value means sometimes, if you fix, for example, okay, one more thing, for example, this one will be maybe 4 lakhs, for example. Some of them is broken. If we fix, it will cost 1 lakh, for example. Right? This one value will be only 3 lakhs, not 4 lakhs anymore. So it depends on what parts is broken, how valuable it is. Right? Some always is broken, but if we repair, we can reuse. Right? It depends on the price. In your hands. I see. Okay. In this case, it's when your intention. So it's when I have intention spoiling other people's properties. Like rotten fish into the oil. If you intentionally spoil it, it depends on the value you spoil, right? Then it will be. We can decide like this, right? Okay, so that means broken other people's properties? Unintentionally. In this case, it doesn't matter. I see. Okay. Okay. In this case, you don't have intention to spoil other people's properties, right? Okay. In this case, also, if we can follow his wish, it will be more safe. For safety, right? Because PATVDH, PATVDH means we have to return the price. Okay? Other people's spoil. This also okay, it doesn't matter. You can ask, no problem. It doesn't matter. This is your properties. Actually, this one is, intention or intention is really very difficult. We cannot see intention, right? But there are some people, they don't respect other people. That's why we can know whether they're intentionally or unintentionally. This is the one thing, right? So sometimes, for to protect themselves, they will say, I just break it unintentionally. It will be the problem. So it depends on their mind, we cannot know, right? So similarly, to ask for compensation, it also depends on us. We can do, although we don't wish to do it, doesn't matter. So, okay, for example, some cases happened in Pārājika around year 2010. One bhikkhu borrowed visited camera from another bhikkhu. He visited Yangon. Right in Yangon, his property were stolen. Camera was also stolen. Then that bhikkhu cannot return the price. Come to the owner. The owner has good relationship. The owner say, okay, it doesn't matter. Let it be. Say like that. But if he asks for compensation, as we say, right? He must compensate. He must pay for it. If he didn't pay, it's Pārājika. At the time, we ask Sayadaw, is Pārājika or not? Then Sayadaw also say, I don't want to say Pārājika or not. Just depend yourself. The price is enough or not. So then we sometimes say, I don't want to say Pārājika or not. Just depend yourself. The price is enough or not. So then we sometimes, that kind of case also can happen. When we are using other people's property, we must respect. We must respect. Case we cannot say Pārājika, but you don't break it intentionally, right? One more thing, if you very, very valuable thing, we should not borrow. Also, we must be more respect, more careful. I see. Okay, so that means more than you have. Okay, that means you have more than you have. Okay, so that means in this kind of case, if you sure it's not your properties, don't keep silent. Don't keep silent. You have to talk to. Otherwise, like similar to stealing, right? Sure. It depends on the value, the amount you use, right? The amount is enough for Pārājika. Now I don't know the gold price in Myanmar. No, more than $2,000. So 1.24 troy ounce or gold. 124 troy ounce, right? $80 now. It depends on the price in Myanmar, right? So if this kind of thing happen in Myanmar, we have to decide according to Myanmar price. Okay, so it depends. I know. It depends on the price, You have FRC, visa free, how many years you live, and how much you have to pay. It depends on all the things. It's like avoiding the tax. We call in Bali Sungka Gada, without paying the tax. For the now, very clear things is like, for the now, the car without license, computer without license, we avoid the tax. So now in Myanmar, we have many cars without license. Then we avoid the tax. So it depends on the value we avoid. It depends on the amount we avoid, right? It will be Pārājika. In 1 year, 1 year is not enough for Pārājika, right? Huh? $20. Okay, not long enough. Visa is $20. So for FRC? $10. Okay. Okay, so that means it must be many years, right? For Pārājika. So it depends on the amount he avoid the tax. We can see is Pārājika or not. Okay, it depends on the gold price. We're going to see $100 exactly. The price of the gold, In this case also, it depends on the value. For example, sometimes, the properties are not enough for all people, right? For example, only 20 watts, for example. if we all the bhikkhu accept, only 20 wasa bhikkhu can get, for example. But he's less than 20 wasa, he just go in front. In this case, the price. It isn't the price. In the case of Vinaya, no karma. Question will be much better here. The Vinaya question should be here, right? If no question, we should stop, right? Now 7:45 already. Okay, now.